we have to stand up for our people. We have to stand up for Israel. They need us. And lots of people are scared too, but I feel it's our duty.
I'm Howard Feldman. Welcome back to Smiling in the Dark. We're talking to different people, trying to get a sense of how they have coped and how they are managing with a tremendously difficult environment, both in South Africa, in Israel. So we're trying to identify and we're trying to figure out what some of the different ways are, perhaps, of dealing with the immense difficulties that we are facing as Zionists, as Jews, as South Africans. How do we react to it? Do we keep quiet? Do we lament our fate? Or do we do something about it? Well, I had the privilege of meeting the couple that we're about to speak to, Craig and Dena Pantanowitz, and I thought that their response was absolutely brilliant. Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
A great pleasure. Okay, so taking a look at the two of you, I don't want to be crude. I don't want to be rude. I mean, all the truth is that's not even true because I'm generally a little bit rude. But you don't look like your standard Israel activists. How did this all happen? Who's starting?
Howie, it's been something that Dena and I have been very involved in, certainly in our hearts from the time we've known each other. But I think that October 7th really shook us to our core and has given us maybe the boost or the inspiration to get much more involved. And maybe by being active, it was a way for us to deal with some of the trauma that we've been going through.
So take me through October 7th. Where were you? What did you hear? When did you start to become aware that this wasn't a normal day?
Howie, I think, interestingly enough, I must have been one of the first people to be made aware. I've got a very good friend who lives 40 k's out of the Gaza area.
Oh my gosh, okay.
And he sent me a message at 6:30 on the Saturday morning. And Dena and I were lying in bed about to wake up and go to gym. And I got this message to say, get onto social media, something terrible's going on here. And we were looking at my phone and we saw the first car drive into Siderot.
Oh my God.
With these armed militants on the back with that big machine gun.
You saw that?
We saw it happening on Twitter, on X, and it was live. And the next thing, we saw these photos coming through on social media of those elderly people that were shot at the bus stop. And Dena and I looked at each other and I just said to her, the world's about to change.
And then the WhatsApp started coming through from all the Israeli...
The sites.
Yes,
the news
which is not normal because it doesn't come through on Shabbos.
Correct. Wow.
Just was insane.
Yeah, we literally lay there and I said, the world's about to change. And it did. And it was just...
But your world changed.
Yeah.
Your world changed. So was it, Dena, was it a conscious decision or was it just something... Was it an unspoken move towards action?
So I've always been with the Holocaust. I'm very close to Holocaust survivor. So I've always been spoken about the Holocaust. We've taught our kids about it. They know. And when this happened, I thought, we have to stand up for our people. We have to stand up for Israel. They need us. And lots of people are scared too.
Yeah.
But I feel it's our duty.
Let's talk about that fear, because that is something that we're seeing a lot of. I mean, people are, and I get it, they're working in corporate or they are in an environment where they feel at risk. Was that a concern for you? I don't mean about corporate, but were you worried in terms of what this might invite into your family?
Yeah, I mean, for me, definitely, Howie. I think the amount of abuse that takes place for being a Zionist, it's almost like a swear word now. And the amount of anti-Semitism that has risen so dramatically quickly in our lives. And yeah, no question, I'm very aware of the repercussions of what we do. I think that the amount of people that are being punished for being Jewish, being punished for being Zionists, but there's no choice here. And I've always said to Dee, and I've always maintained that had I been alive during the Holocaust, I would never ever have gone quietly into the night. It's just not the way that I am. And I think this is our next big challenge. And I refuse to be one of those Jews that bow my head. And Dena supports me, I support her in standing up. And come what may, you know, if there's repercussions for us, as long as it doesn't hurt my children, we're there.
I suspect. Yeah,
But also want to teach the
too.
kids
Yeah,
to stand up for
exactly.
who
Isn't
they
that
are,
the thing?
for who what we believe in.
Because otherwise, what's the alternative
Yeah.
message? You know, that keep your head down, don't make a noise,
And be
don't
scared.
stand up, be afraid.
And how's that worked out for us in the past? Not well. And I refuse to be that quiet Jew. Can't be.
So how have you done this? You know, if you take a snapshot of you guys on October the 6th versus today in March, what's different?
I'm very active on social media. I post anything, and whether some people will like it or don't, but you have to see the truth. People have to know. We wear yellow ribbons. I've had T-shirts printed. I wear different
Little
T-shirts.
Messiah, see, that's very cute.
I wear different T-shirts every day. I'm not anywhere I go.
So, and what happens? Like if you're in a mall, if you're somewhere, do you get a reaction to it?
I've only had good.
That's
Some
amazing.
elderly ladies have actually come up to me and hugged me and said, thank you for
love
standing up, and they start crying,
I love it
which is amazing.
Because it is somebody that is standing up with
Yes.
courage.
And they say thank you.
Yeah, that's amazing. That is incredible.
And our gate at home now has 134 yellow ribbons on our gate with a big pool noodle in the middle. So we're out there.
Yeah, you are out there. What was did that change anything in how you think, feel, behave?
Well, I was too embarrassed to say I was South African.
Were you?
Yeah. I told a few people I've lived here for very long.
Okay.
Because you don't know.
Yeah. I remember when my parents many years ago would go overseas during the apartheid era, and they would say, no, they're Australia.
Yeah.
So I guess we've kind of gone full circle.
Full circle.
Yeah.
And that's actually so sad, Hal, because I have been the biggest South African supporter my entire life, whether it's South African sports or watching our Rainbow Nation not break and not crash.
Absolutely.
And being a very proud South African. And I can tell you that I've changed, unfortunately.
You don't feel that now?
I don't feel that now.
How do you get that back? You know, because I know we keep saying that the ANC is not South Africa, but to some extent, whether we like it or not, they are, because they represent the country. How do we get that back? How do we feel proudly South African again as a Jewish community? What needs to happen?
It's a difficult one, Howie. But I think that hopefully we could, with the opportunity of a new election,
100%.
we could have some semblance of reasonableness in South Africa where we get a government that is representative of all the people and not only one particular section of our population.
100%.
And it feels like the ANC have sold their souls. Really, to me, that's how it feels. And hopefully we'll have a much more moderate government who... Balanced. That's
Fair.
all I want.
Yeah, that's all we look for.
We don't like what's going on in the Middle East as much as anybody else.
yeah.
We want peace.
Yeah.
And
I think that's what's so difficult about this is you almost get painted, or certainly I do, as though I'm a genocide warrior, baby killer. Nobody asked for this war. Well, certainly Israel didn't ask for this war. And nobody's happy to see innocent people dying.
it's terrible.
But
Absolutely shocking.
release the hostages.
Yeah,
and,
it's over.
And the whole thing is over. Yeah.
You cannot expect any country like Israel to live the way it lives with these absolute terrorists on their border. And the reality is, give back our people. Hamas must surrender. And it's finished. It's over. And yeah, it's South Africa's taken a very one-sided position in this, and it doesn't sit well.
So all of that is quite negative, and it's very concerning. But you two, as a couple, have found a way through action to be positive, to make a difference. Advice to people watching:
believe in who you are, in your religion. Be the voices for all the hostages, all the women, all the kids who don't have one. We can't let their cries go unheard.
100%. Craig?
Absolutely. You know, Howie, I think that we need to understand where we've come from the Holocaust to today, and even before so as Jews. I mean, this is not the first rodeo we've been on.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think that it's critically important to stand up, be proud of who we are. We are an amazing people. And in spite of the names that we called, these genocidal baby killers and ridiculous things, we always have to go back to knowing in truth who we are. And we're a nation of love. We're a nation of kindness. We're a nation of charity. And that's what we need to celebrate. And eventually, please God, the rest of the world will wake up to the reality and not the lies that are peddled out there. And how do we make a difference? Keep shining beautiful light on the amazing people that we are. And I think just for me, going to Israel and seeing how unbelievably positive those people, those Israelis are in the face of the
most
terrible massacres to their people. They still get up every day and keep the country going, and the way they've pulled together for the soldiers. And every sector of Israeli society is pulled together, that sitting in South Africa, for us to do our little bit, is not a big story when you look at what they're doing there.
Absolutely love that. Be inspired, do something. Find what it is that you could do to help, and obviously do it with thought, and just make sure it's the right thing to do. But that is how you're going to smile in the dark. I'm Howard Feldman. Thanks for joining.